All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's Squad Talk. This webinar presentation is a follow-up from our Lunch and Learn last week, and we're going to be talking about how to build a powerful online lead generation campaign. We get this question a lot from many of our small business clients about how they can use digital marketing to generate new leads for their website. There's a lot of confusion out there about how to do that. How do you leverage your website? How do you leverage social media channels to truly drive new business for your organization? And that's going to be the topic of conversation today. And my goal is to give you an overview of how to do that. We don't have the time to dive deep in a lot of specific tactics and strategies, but my goal is to give you an overall framework, and that'll give you some ideas that you can go down and to start thinking about things that you can do to target your specific industry, your audience, that's going to help you generate more leads digitally. So we're very much looking forward to today's presentation, and we're glad that you guys are here with us. And we're, let's see, let me get my presentation deck to work here, right? And it's not doing that. So all right, here we go. You know, technology, if it always work right when it was supposed to, and there's nothing like having a technology glitch when you got a live webinar going on, but such is the way it is. And you know, even last week when I was doing the live Lunch and Learn, the projector didn't work at the facility, and there was problems with the computer connecting, and we had to do that one pretty much old school with no presentations or anything like that. So hopefully we're not going to repeat that and have these issues here. So, all right, going on to the first presentation slide here. I love this image, and if you've been to our website recently and seen any of our retargeting ads, this little guy right here, he is the featured image on those presentations. And I just love this image, and the idea is that it connotates that feeling that a lot of people get when we talk about generating leads for your business digitally and how to do that. A lot of people either say, how do you do that? Or it's not really possible, or somewhere in between. Well, the answer is it is possible. We do it for our business. We do it for many of our clients. And the key is knowing how to do it. So that's what we're going to walk through today. Some fundamental steps that you need to understand and things you can do to begin generating leads for your business. So moving on to the next slide, this is probably one of the most important things that you have to do if you're going to generate leads for your business with your website using social media. And that is understanding who your target audience is. Whether you're a B2B company, whether you're a B2C company, you've got to know who you're going after. And we've done presentations before. There's all kinds of resources out there to help you go and truly identify who your target audience is. And you should instinctively know that anyway. If you're in sales or marketing, or you're the owner of a business, or really anything involved with business development, you've got to know. But if you don't know and you haven't narrowed in very specifically, any marketing efforts you do, whether it's digital, whether it's offline, whatever, you're going to miss the mark, and you're going to spend a lot of money finding this answer out the hard way. Whether if you would just back up, take some time to dig in and figure out who your target audience is specifically with as much detail as possible, the better off you're going to be in the long run. I know it's hard work, it's tough work, it can be boring, monotonous, and it's not fun. But at the end of the day, taking that time to do that level of discipline is going to pay huge dividends in future marketing efforts. And so make sure you spend the time before you do anything else knowing who your target audience is. Now, I love this next slide. And this next slide was a direct result of a comment that the co-host of our podcast, Winning at Small Business, his name is Joel Gerdes, said during a recent conversation we had about this very topic. And he's like, you know, for digital marketing to work and to really generate leads for a brand, it's got to be operating like a high-performance V12 engine. And he made the correlation that, you know, do you want your marketing running on 4 cylinders, or do you want it to run on 12 cylinders? And obviously, we want it running on 12 cylinders. And what this is an image of a high performance engine from a race car. And so this engine looks like it's got a lot of horsepower in there. And that's exactly what you want your digital marketing efforts to do, especially if you're relying on it to generate leads for your brand. And so the connotation of this is that not one thing is going to work. If you're just doing email marketing and that's it, you may get some results, but it's not going to have the exact same impact as if you were doing email marketing plus social media plus retargeting plus AdWords plus some of the many other things that are available out there for you in digital marketing. So it's when you use all these things in conjunction that it all works together. And it's so important that as you go into this, that you have a plan in mind. And that plan really resonates from what we talked about in the previous slide of knowing who your target audience is. And so all these things have to work together. And, it's interesting because depending on where you're getting your information from, it's that before a person's going to interact with a brand, they usually have to have 7 touches with you. Other sources say it's more like 15 or 20. But the truth is today that in our society, we are inundated with marketing messages on top of marketing messages each and every day. During the live workshop, we asked folks how many messages they think we're inundated with on average. And so all that, again, depends on who you ask. You can go Google that. It looks like the consensus is somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 marketing messages a day that we're faced with. Some said high as 15 or 20. I don't know that it's that high, but it's a big number that we're inundated with. And so the likelihood of your brand being able to penetrate with your target audience and get some kind of response or reaction from them after only one touch is unlikely. So if you've got this strategic framework of how you're going to be able to put your brand in front of them in multiple ways on multiple channels, you're going to be much more likely to get them engaged with you and enter your sales and marketing funnel at some point. All right. So now we're going to go through and we're going to talk about some of the different elements you can use from a digital marketing strategy to drive people to your website, to your landing pages, and convert and enter your sales and marketing funnel. And first, we have to talk with paid advertising. Back in the day, you could rely on Facebook and not have to pay to play. But today, that's not the case. If your brand has a business Facebook page and you post something on there, at the end of the day, a very small percentage of the people who like your page are going to see it. And because in order to do that, Facebook now says you've got to pay to boost this post, and depending on how big the number of people that like your page are, or the audience that you've selected to go and target, is largely going to determine how many people see that. Now, there is the opportunity for liking and sharing and stuff like that, and that's absolutely going to expand your organic reach, but you can't always predict specifically how that's going to happen. Whenever you do put a social media post out there, most of the time you hope it's going to go viral. You hope it's going to get a lot of attention and traction, but you can't always predict that. And so in many times you've got to pay to put that information out there in front of folks, especially on Facebook. Twitter, it's a little bit of a different animal. The users interact with Twitter a little bit differently, but there are still paid opportunities there. LinkedIn, especially if you're going after the B2B audience, can be an effective tool to share your message. But in many cases, LinkedIn advertising to do it well is expensive. It's not something that you can kind of dip your toe in the water if you're looking to achieve any kind of meaningful results from that. And then, furthermore, you've got the pay-per-click advertising options out there. And, Google AdWords is the one that most people go to. And I really like Google AdWords simply because when people are searching for something, you're there with a captive audience. So if somebody's looking for, Louisville web design, today we are on the first page organically, but those paid ads always show up above it. And so people may be more apt to click on that because they see it first, and businesses pour a lot of money into Google AdWords and other PPC sources because they know that people are actively searching for that product or service. That's why they're showing up on that search engine results page. And it makes sense. Go ahead and give them an avenue to engage with you and to get to your conversion page. It makes a lot of sense to do that. But I do give a caveat, especially when you're doing pay-per-click marketing, you got to know what you're doing. I've seen companies waste thousands of dollars because they went down a path and did not engage or leverage the AdWords platform properly. And let's talk a little bit about AdWords, because it really is a two-step process. Again, going back to one of the original slides in the presentation, you got to know who your target audience is and you got to know what they're searching for. If you don't have that right, you are not going to succeed at driving the right traffic to your landing and conversion pages with AdWords. You're just not going to do it. So the first part of the equation is understanding what your audience is searching for and knowing what those keywords are. Once you've got that, you can set up the text ads, the ad groups, all the mechanisms that are going to drive people to your landing page. So when you're starting a new campaign, it's very important that you're keeping a close eye on how those keywords are performing. What's the click-through rate? Is it getting the right people? And once you've got that honed in, you've got to quickly, or even in parallel, turn your attention to how are things converting. So when I'm driving them to a landing page, is it converting? Is it the right people that are getting there? And so we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can optimize landing pages in a little bit to get more conversions. But it really is two halves of the coin when you're doing any kind of digital advertising. I know that we've been talking primarily about AdWords for the last few minutes, but if you're driving people somewhere, make sure it's the right people, or else you're going to waste a lot of money and a lot of clicks in advertising. But then once they get there, you got to give it the best opportunity to convert and put the right offer in front of them. So paid advertising is one way, because regardless of whether you're paying people or paying for people to get to your conversion pages, or whether it's happening organically, you got to get them there. If you don't get them there, you're not getting eyeballs on these key conversion assets, and it's not going to happen. So this next image, I just tried to find something unique here that kind of is a connotation for organic. Organic growth is great. If you can put organic social media content out there, or organic content on your blog, or just any way that really naturally draws people to you, it's huge. And this is especially big with SEO. And in order to really have a strong foundation of organic content, in my opinion, you've got to have a robust blogging campaign. There's just no other way around it. Blogging is an indicator to Google that your website is being updated frequently, as long as it is being coded correctly from a SEO perspective and the content is strong. It's the on-page optimization is where it needs to be. It's a great indicator to Google that what the content you're producing is relevant and that it's meaningful, and you're more likely to rank higher organically from a search standpoint if you've done that well. But as you're going out and creating this organic content too, you got to know who your target audience is so you know what to write about. And that's something that gets missed a lot. And actually, if you pair together some of your AdWords research to understand what your target audience is searching for, then it gives you some clues as far as what you need to be writing about on your blog. And so that's something that's very important. And, also when you're thinking organically how to drive people to your website or your conversion pages on your social media channels, not every post is meant to drive somebody to a conversion page. Sometimes you're just trying to do a little bit of brand building, letting people know who your company is, who you are, giving them insights as far as your team members and your culture. And because people today, they not only want to buy products and services that are going to serve them well, but in some cases they want to know who the company is, what's the company all about, who do they support. And social media is such a great way to do that, and especially with Instagram and the new capabilities of live video, and it's just a great way to really bring people inside your company, inside your culture, and let them get a really good look as far as who you are. So in the last few minutes, we've been talking about the two primary ways to drive people to your landing and conversion pages. You're either going to pay for it or you can work to do it organically. But the thing I think it's very important for everybody to understand is either way, you're paying for it. Yeah, it's easy to go put that ad out there, put some dollars behind it. That seems like the easy way to go, but it's still money leaving your pocket. At the end of the day, creating high quality organic content that's going to be ranked or it's going to connect with your target audience on social channels, that costs money too. Both sometimes in the terms of paying an agency to do it or paying one of your team members to do it. If you're doing it yourself, there is the opportunity cost of the time you put into it. So one way or the other, there is going to be a cost to getting people to your landing pages and hope that they're going to convert. So make sure that if you're putting that effort in there, you're spending those resources, that you're getting the right people there, and then you're making it very easy for them to convert. So we're going to go in now to talk about some of the things you can do to help people convert and enter your sales and marketing funnel. And in most cases, you've got to provide a special offer or an incentive for them to enter the sales and marketing funnel. This can be in the form of a case study, it can be a white paper, it can be giving them access to some other types of premium content. But in most cases, people aren't just going to give you their name and email because they know what's coming, right? I mean, typically when I go to a website and you get the pop-up or whatever, unless I'm really interested in that brand and I trust that brand or I really want what that offer is, I am not giving you my email address because I get so many emails as it is a day. I don't want to have another thing I've got to unsubscribe for and not paying attention to. So that goes back to even the example of the V12 engine, that more than likely from my experience, even if you've got a really, really strong offer, if it's the first time that somebody's interacted with your brand, they're probably not going to give you their contact information. But if they're interacting with your brand on that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 20th time, and you've built up some trust with them over time, then they're probably going to be more likely to engage with that special offer. So one other thing that I think is so important, if you're going to tout this special offer to get somebody to engage with you and you're giving them a piece of content or just something to enter the funnel, make sure that whatever you are giving them is really good, and make sure that there's a marketing automation system or funnel behind it that's going to continue to provide value with them in the weeks and months to come, depending on your target audience and what you have to offer. Because there's nothing worse than opting in to get a special piece of content or something that I think is going to be helpful, and then getting it and it's awful. It's a total letdown. And if you do that, you've done more harm than good. So make sure whatever content offers you're providing out there to get people to enter your sales and marketing funnel, make sure they're good. Make sure it goes above and beyond. Make sure that it really wows and delights them. Because if not, you would be better off not having that landing page, that conversion page on there. Especially if you're paying AdWords to send them there. Don't jeopardize the success by having a poor content offer. And so the next thing we've got here is an example of a contact form. This is directly from our website. It's for one of our content offers that we've got. And the whole idea behind this is simply to make it very simple for people to get the information they're looking for. We've got first name, last name, email, submit, that's it. And this next slide is kind of a fun one. It's a can of WD-40 up here. The whole point of this one is that don't create friction for people to enter your sales and marketing funnel. I've seen so many companies make the mistake of asking way too many questions for somebody to get a simple download. They want your name, they want your phone number, they want your company name, they want your email, what's your revenue, how many employees do you have, and it goes on and on and on. And I don't want to do that. If they got a good landing page with a good, compelling offer on it, you pique their emotions, you got them interested, they're ready to go, Well, let's quickly get them to go and fill this thing out. I don't want them to think about it and have to answer all these questions. No, don't do that. Simple entry forms are the way to go. Now, if you got a more complex offer or somebody's trying to, get a request for a proposal or something, then you may have to ask for more information to get the information you need to provide them with the information. I get that, but streamline it as much as you can to reduce the friction. All right. So the next thing you got to do here, this scorecard is on here because in order to be successful with digital marketing, you got to have a system for keeping score. You have got to do this. If you put an ad out there or a landing page or you're doing some kind of social media promotion and you aren't tracking and measuring the results, you're not going to perform very well. It's going to fall short. It's not going to be where you want it to be. And that's not good for anybody. So make sure you have a system in place to do that. In fact, if you go to our website, you can actually download a free digital marketing reporting template. This is the core of what we use for our own clients. We even use it here at the Squad, but it's a great resource that you can use to start you on the path of tracking your digital marketing efforts and what's generating leads and what's not. And, part of this equation is doing some A/B testing. So for example, you've got a landing page out there that's got a certain offer with a certain hook, and then you put a duplicate page where you just change one thing and you put the A page up against the B page and see which one is generating the most leads. And so that's called A/B testing. And a lot of small businesses especially miss this. They just put something out there and hope it works, but they don't have a comparison to figure out, is this headline going to work better? Or is this offer going to work better? Or what if I tweak the form this way? Because as much as I'd love to tell you that it's easy to say what's going to work perfectly every time in marketing, it doesn't work that way. You can have everything all lined up, know exactly who your target market is, have a great call to action, and just do everything right, and it fall on deaf ears. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason why, but you have to have the ability to go and adjust and measure and tweak as needed based on the data. So make sure that you got an A/B testing process in place so you can go through and tweak and adjust to make that happen. If you need any help with that, let us know. It's something we can definitely work with you on to help you set that up. And then, this next one, again, that kind of goes in with the entire theme of testing, is you just got to measure results. And if you don't know that, you're not going to win at digital marketing, and you're going to look up 6 months later and say, wow, we'd spent $20,000, but what did we get for that? So make sure that you're very careful about setting that up. And again, we got the free digital marketing template that's available for you on the bottom of this video, depending on where you're looking at it on. I'll put a link to that, or you can just go to our website there as well at themarketingsquad.com, and it's very easy for you to go and download that. But it's a free resource we put together and something that we believe is going to be meaningful to you and help you with your digital marketing efforts. So, as we come to the end of our presentation here, one of the things that is so important is that there are no shortcuts to marketing or sales success, none at all. And it's hard work, especially in digital marketing, because today there is no shortage of content. There is no shortage of people vying for your attention in the digital space. I mean, people are it's a mad rush. It's a mad dash to get there. And you have to make sure you're playing the long game in order to be successful in the long term. And you just got to have a strategy in place to do that. And that starts going back from the very beginning of knowing who your target audience is, deciding on what kind of page strategies you're going to deploy, how are you going to leverage quality organic content to drive people to your landing pages once you get them there, what's going to be a solid content offer or a solid hook that's going to get them to engage and enter your sales and marketing funnel. Once you've done that, make sure that you're serving them well, providing them with information and an experience that's really going to delight them, that's even providing them with more value than what they even expected. That is key, because if you do that on the front side, then they're going to get a sense that that's going to be what they're going to experience. and future interactions with their companies. And then as you're doing these things, make it easy. Make it very easy for people to interact with your company. And then finally, make sure you've got a system to keep score so you can test and measure. Because again, not everything is going to work exactly right how we want it to. And you've just got to be prepared to trim the sails as necessary to get your campaign on track. And if it's not, then hey, maybe you throw that campaign away and start all over. You take what you learned and apply it to the next way. So there's no easy solution for marketing success. It's just hard work, and it's continual hard work. And that's why so many organizations turn to agencies like the Marketing Squad to help them work to achieve their goals, whether you outsource your marketing department to our company or whether we're working in conjunction with your existing sales and marketing department. Our job is to help you be more successful. So if you have any questions, you see my email address here. It's adam@themarketingsquad.com. You can always call me directly, 502-618-4230. Also, you can easily connect with me or message me on Twitter. It's just at adamrobinsonmba.com. So thank you again for tuning in to this webinar. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar. And again, if you have any questions, go to themarketingsquad.com. We'd be more than happy to help you with any of your marketing needs. Have a great day.